Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dychronic, you're also on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about my top 10 favorite PvP heavies in Destiny 2. And I realize this kind of video for the PvP heavies is not as popular as the primaries and the specials, but picking the right heavy can drastically change your outcome in round-based game modes like competitive and Trials of Osiris. If you get heavy in the middle of the round, you get complete map control for your team, allowing you to spawn kill the enemy, split up the enemies in their different spawns, and of course just get those extra kills you need to get the advantage. And they're also a lot of fun, so pick a fun one. And of course, as always, this video is completely subjective based on my opinion and the opinion of my buddy Zoomzy, a prolific PvP player, has like a 3.0 KAD, ridiculous man in PvP. He's the one that captured all this gameplay, so you can check out a link to his Twitch in the description down below. And throughout the video, you'll be seeing some pictures of spreadsheets. If you wanted to get your hands on it, it's fully public for you. All you have to do is head over to my Discord, which is linked in the description down below, and on the channel #Spreadsheets docs, you'll be able to find a link to all my spreadsheets and all the build docs that I make for PvE, PvP, and exotic armor. So check that out. Of course, there's a big community there if you wanted to hang out with those people, ask me questions. I'm very active there, and oftentimes I'm in those voice chats doing live streams or just hanging out, so come join. And of course, for those of you guys who didn't skip to the beginning of this top 10, I have a giveaway going on right now. It is pretty much to the end of August, so you have very little time. If you want to win yourself an Astro A10 headset, blue microphone, or a GamerSubs GG Gamer Tub, that's not what they call it, but that's what I call it, a Gamer Tub, find a link in the description down below for a Gleam link. Pretty straightforward. And of course, I do these monthly, so keep checking in. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the main content of this video. We take a deep dive into these spreadsheets. In case you haven't seen these before, this is what they look like. They have pictures, color coding, they have links to tutorials, they have catalyst info, recommendations for all the legendary weapons across all the weapons I have considered for this video. And of course, there are weapons you haven't seen on this list. Oftentimes, there are other weapons that are very, very similar. So pretty much every adaptive frame 20 RPM rocket launcher functions similarly, so if you don't see yours, that's probably why. I have a limit to how many I can do. And of course, as you can tell, I don't really do my top 10s like a lot of other people do. You can obviously see what my top 10 favorite weapons for the Crucible PvP heavies are, but the reasons why they are in the place they are, and the reasons why certain archetypes of those types of weapons are doing better than others. And in this video, I'll be talking about why. And in regular Dychronic fashion, we're going to be working our way from the worser side of weapons, working our way up through the top 10. First and foremost, I want to give a huge shout out to swords. Firstly, as a sword regularly, they're not really that useful for Crucible. It's very difficult to get in close range of people. Oftentimes they're very mobile, very fast, and a lot of people have shotguns, making them hard to use. However, every sword in the game, with or without ammo, you can use them to 3-peek. So if you hold the sword in your hand, you're in third person and you can see around walls. You can also do this with emotes, but that's a bit slower, and there's an indication in chat that you are in fact emoting. So this allows you to get inside information, what's around the corner, before even getting there, which is very powerful, very strong, and I'd highly recommend it. Outside of that, Black Talon has crazy auto target when you're shooting that thing, which I believe you only have 2 throws or maybe 3 throws with it. It's a pretty good weapon, but I have other options I prefer. Next up, for the sniper rifles, pretty much both of these are going to be PvE-based sniper rifles, with the one redeeming quality is that Darcy is a 140 RPM sniper rifle that can actually 2-shot body shot, whereas pretty much all the other ones cannot. Up next, we have these shotguns. In my opinion, the Tractor Cannon is one of the better weapons in the game, not only allowing you to kill enemies from pretty decent range as compared to the other special ammo shotguns in the game, you can also shut down enemy supers at a pretty large range. You're not going to kill them with it, but you're going to hit them at a large range, and it's very widespread, easy to use. One of those weapons you definitely don't use like other heavy weapons. You don't just use it as much as you can until you run out. It's one of those you put in your pocket to use in very specific scenarios while you use it with a sniper, for example. For the only bow in the game, we have the Leviathan's Breath. Now, this Leviathan Breath, in my opinion, functions very similarly to that of the Sleeper Simulant. You charge it back, and it can one-shot body shot any enemy in the game, regardless if they have their super, I believe. And with that, it is a lot closer range and better handling and better aim assistance at close range than the Sleeper Simulant. However, it takes a long time to charge. I think it was like 1,400 charge time. That's around a 21 RPM compared to the Sleeper Simulant, which is around 44 to 38, depending on if you have the catalyst. Sleeper Simulant, in my opinion, has a better long range and it charges faster. it just feels like Leviathan's Breath doesn't have a place. Coming up at number 10, and the only fusion rifle in the game, we have 1000 Voices. Now this is an extremely powerful weapon. When you see an enemy with 1000 Voices, you fear it. Even if you have a super activated or one of those super activating supers, you fear the 1000 Voices because it kills a lot of people from pretty much the max range of every map. The biggest downside to it is that it is very slow. There's a very slow charge time, there's a very slow shoot time, and then there's a delay after that, which you oftentimes get yourself killed with any of the number of 7 explosions that can each kill a Guardian with one. But if you do get used to it and you do play defensively, you'll be able to get a lot of accidental double kills. You'll kill a lot of enemy supers very easily, although they may kill you because it's very slow. So TLDR, this weapon is incredibly strong, but it's slow. Up next, we have the linear fusion rifle. Pretty much across the board for all of the other linear fusion rifles, they do not one-shot body shot. So you have to get that headshot to kill enemies, and even though they have a higher aim assistance and better close range capability with that aim assistance, in my opinion, they really feel like charge time sniper rifles. And in my opinion, I'd rather just use a sniper rifle and save my heavy ammo for something else. The difference, however, with Sleeper is not only can you one-shot in the body, you can also one-shot in the body any enemy super in the game, so drastically changing its damage output, which is incredible to use. So if you ever find yourself not hitting headshots 100% of the time, hitting those body shots a lot, Sleeper Simulant might be for you. On top of that, like I said before, the Catalyst actually improves your RPM, which is going away this season, so make sure you get it before those raids go away. And of course, Sleeper shoots at infinite ranges, even farther than that of the 1K. Oftentimes in Gambit, you're really far away. There is a limit to 1K, but Sleeper, there's no limit. Up next, we have the grenade launchers, a very powerful archetype of weapons with a lot of good options, with good availability from World and Crucible drops, with a lot of great perks. Rangefinder Quick Draw is fantastic. As far as the archetypes go, the reason why I've chosen the 120s is because the 120s do more damage and bigger blast radius than the 150s, which just shoot a little bit faster, which is not really that important in the Crucible. So much so that these days, 150s are not even used in PvE. In my opinion, Bungie really needs to reassess what they use their 150 RPM grenade launchers for, because in PvE, they do not do better DPS, they do not have more damage or blast radius, they don't feel like they have a point. The biggest downside to these 120 RPM grenade launchers is that they are going to be sunsetting. So after this season, unless there's a new one, the interference is going to be your only option outside of exotics. Speaking of exotics, we have the Colony, one of the most fun exotics in my opinion, most interestingly designed exotics in the game. You shoot grenade launchers that grow legs, then run along the floors, walls, and ceilings until they get close enough to an enemy to explode. This is not only a lot of fun, it's also really effective for accidentally getting you kills. It forces the enemy to jump into the air, meaning that they're easier for you to combat because they don't have as good of accuracy. There's a lot of great stuff about this weapon. Obviously, a lot of people have learned to escape the explosions of those spider grenades, but it's still a lot of fun and is still very effective. Up next to the second best type of weapon in the game, we have the rocket launchers. The first time in, I don't know, since the beginning of the game, I've ever not placed Warcliff Coil at number 1. I'll be talking about exactly why, because there's a lot of reasons why people don't realize, but even then, rocket launchers are actually really good. Firstly, for the legendary versions, in my opinion, the high impact frames are going to be your best options for a number of reasons. Firstly, I value blast radius and handling for rocket launchers more than anything else, and they have the best of both worlds. Everything else focuses on stability, velocity, reload speed that really just doesn't need it. When you're using a rocket launcher, you want to jump up in the air as high as possible and very quickly fire that shot. Handling and blast radius are going to be your friend, and you couple that with things like rangefinder, you'll have enough velocity. Again, the biggest issue with these is the sunset level. Tomorrow's answer, a trials weapon. It's going to be your only option for legendary weapons very soon, as far as the high end level gameplay. As far as the other two major exotics, Truth is great for so many different reasons. First of all, it comes with tracking. You can lock onto your targets, and it also comes with proximity detection. So even if you slightly miss your target, you're going to get accidental kills with it. You can honestly just fire it down hallways, and you'll get kills because it'll explode near a target. And with that tracking, you slightly course correct towards targets. With that proximity, you slightly more course correct for explosion. You get yourself a lot more kills. Now, the biggest advantage that Truth used to have is it used to come off of a non-shared wall Nightfall with 3 rockets, it now only comes with 1, so it does not have an advantage over the others other than the proximity explosion tracking and good stats of a rocket launcher. Over at number 2, in my opinion, one of the most fun exotics to use for heavies in the Crucible is going to be the Warcliff Coil. Now, the biggest downside is that Warcliff comes with 1 shot no matter what. Even after scavenger off the ground of multiple types, even with shared versus non-shared, Warcliff only ever got 1 shot, and it is still an incredible weapon. Why? Because it's a shotgun rocket launcher. You shoot pretty much everything in front of you with rockets from anywhere right in front of you to mid-range. You're almost guaranteed to get kills on everything there, on top of being able to kill supers very easily. So there's a number of advantages for this weapon, and I highly recommend using it in almost every single scenario. Now, I did say almost, because at number 1, Xenophage has stolen my heart. And finally, for the heavy machine guns, we have a lot of great options. For the legendary choices, my personal choice is going to be the 450 heavy machine guns for a number of reasons. The 360s and the 900s honestly just bounce a little bit too much. They do not get very many kills per heavy ammo off the wall, whereas the 450s are an adaptive frame, meaning they have much better stability, which oftentimes means better control over range, in my opinion being better than the 360s. And generally, I would say you get anywhere from 2 to 4 kills with a heavy ammo off the wall, even a shared heavy ammo off the wall with these heavy machine guns, which is still very strong. And not still, it is very strong. And with that, they also have a lot of great perks and great availability from both of these places. The downside being that the 1060 sunset means they're pretty much out the door this season. Which means if you see a 450 heavy machine gun, that's most likely going to be the replacement for these items. However, these heavy machine guns pale in comparison to the Xenophage. Now, if you've played Crucible lately, you've been shot by a Xenophage. Pretty much every match that has heavy ammo, somebody will shoot at you with a Xenophage. And there is a slew of different reasons why. If you've never heard of it before, the Xenophage has a lot to it. Firstly, it has explosive rounds, meaning you'll accidentally hit multiple targets with your shots, and even if you miss and hit a wall near a target, you're hitting them and flinching them, on top of just having near infinite range. Also, you do 150 damage per shot anywhere in the body to enemies, which you cannot crit, which often nets you one-shot kills because enemies have around 185 to 195 health. If your teammate shoots them once in the body with a hand cannon, you're often able to just mop up that kill with 1 shot. On top of that, you can also get double kills by accident. You see 2 enemies standing next to each other, you shoot 2 shots in their general direction, they both die to Xenophage. And that is not even the best part. The shared ammo off the wall gives you 6 shots of Xenophage, and that is the reason why Warcliff Coil is not at number 1, because with Xenophage, it is not only easy to use as a heavy machine gun, it has great aim assistance, it makes sense to people, it has near infinite range, you can accidentally get kills, you can get double kills with these same shots, and you have 6 shots from a shared ammo. This kind of weapon, with its kind of power, in my opinion, deserves grenade launcher kinds of ammo, 3 to 4. Why does it have 6? TLDR, this weapon is extremely powerful, has incredible range, is easy to use, and has an incredible amount of ammo right off the wall. I would say shot for shot, the Warcliff Coil definitely has the advantage. 1 shot from the Warcliff Coil is easier to get accidental kills, and it is better at super killing, but 6 shots off the wall is kind of hard to argue with. And the final honorable mention is that Heir Apparent, which we got during the Guardian Games, which I don't believe is available anymore, is actually really strong as well. It allows you to get really fast kills because of its 90 RPM, but it has better stats because it's an exotic, and it also has an arc shield around you, which is also really strong. So there's a lot of great stuff about Heir Apparent. You should also check that out as well if you haven't used it much. And that is going to be pretty much it. That is the end of the spreadsheet. If you have any questions, concerns, tips, tricks, or you wanted to mention something I may have overlooked, let me know in the comments down below, because as just one, or actually 2 people who made this spreadsheet, we're gonna miss a lot of different things, and you guys have to tell us how you play the game and why it is different or better than some of these other options. But of course, don't say that I'm an idiot because I didn't think about this weapon, because firstly, obviously, I'm not an idiot. I've created these beautiful spreadsheets, and even if you don't agree with my placements, there is obviously a lot of work that goes into making this. Because if you put a comment that goes, I can't believe this idiot didn't talk about how great the temporal claws was, then I have to go and get my research and links and show off stats and just absolutely dunk on you in the comments, and nobody likes to be dunked on people they don't know in the comments. It just doesn't feel good. But seriously though, like, leave comments down below. I won't rip into everybody. It's just gonna be some of those people that are being buttheads. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name's been Dychronic. Don't forget about that giveaway, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget about that giveaway.